Hi, besties. Welcome to the podcast where we're all friends because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking
Having
about
so much fun.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Bravo should be fun.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo. Allegedly allegations, where we're in a safe space to gossip, share our thoughts, and opinions.
That girl's a liar. That girl's a liar.
About the Bravo celebrities, shows, and celebs we love, hate, and
that's when
love
Chef
to
goes,
hate.
Oh, suddenly now you're so religious?
So be cool. Don't be all uncool.
He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
Because sometimes things may get a little, well, ridiculous.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on. Ah! Oh my God!
It's like the Blair Witch Project or something. All you can hear in the background is, oh my God, has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God, can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
I'm so glad you're here to enjoy the fun. So, thank you for joining me on Besties by Bravo.
Hi, besties. Thank you for joining me today, Tuesday, May 14th. We are live here on YouTube, and I am just going to start out with Bravo News. But first, let me just go over something for my watchers on YouTube. I keep getting the same comment over and over. Your intro's too long. Your intro's too long. There's a reason why the intro is the length it is. One, I like it. Two, it gives people a little bit of time to hop on here instead of me sitting here going, oh, let me just wait for people to join. It gives you something to do while we wait for everyone to kind of hop on. So wanted to give that explanation. There we go. See, thank you, Adam. I'm so glad you love the intro. Everyone either loves it or thinks it's too long, but there is purpose behind it, just so you know. It is not to annoy anyone. It is to give people time to join, which, as it appears, people do need just a second because there is a little bit of a lag on YouTube, in case anyone was wondering. Now, let's get started with this. Oh my God, PK and Dorit. Y'all, could have seen that one coming, could we not? You know, my cast predictions for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 14 were that Dorit would be able to keep holding her diamond if something went down between her and PK. And what do you know? The week filming starts for season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oh my goodness. Dorit posts to Instagram that she and PK are separating. Then she posts it to her Instagram story and then also reposts at cc.loves.u, reposting it to her Instagram stories, and PK posted it as well. There are photos of Dorit and Kyle. There must have been some sort of costume party because Kyle's got like antlers. She looked fabulous, let me just say, like antlers and like a whole thing going. And Dorit's got a giant, I'm so sorry, but like Cruella DeVille-esque hat. Did Cruella DeVille even have a giant hat? In my mind, she did, along with that fur coat. And clearly they're having a conversation about the separation. And apparently there was a scene being filmed for PK and Mauricio talking about it. And supposedly PK got up and stormed out. Again, shocking. Do you want to know who is back and who is new for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 14? I'm so glad you asked. Well, of course, Kyle is back. Shocker. We have our girls Garcelle and Sutton, obviously Dorit. We do have Erica, and let me make sure I say this particular name correctly. Amanda de Cadenet or Cadenet. She's an author, and she's actually good friends with Jamie Lee Curtis. So seemed like kind of the perfect transition there. We also have Eva LaRue, who is a soap star joining season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, let's talk also. We just got from Bravo TV here on Instagram the cast for season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We have Portia Williams, Kenya Moore. Oh my God, if y'all didn't bring back Kenya, I would have lost my mind. Now this one, really? Drew Sidora is coming back. I'm shocked because I'm going to tell you a name I don't see. Sheree. Sheree's not there. Don't see her name. And this is officially from Bravo TV. We have Shamia joining. Cynthia Bailey will be returning as a friend. And they didn't specify whether these other women, it looks like they will be friends of, but it says new ladies, Angela Oakley, Brittany Edie, and Kelly Farrell. So that is our new cast for season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Please do something with this. Bravo, do something. Atlanta should be good. Atlanta shouldn't just be good, it should be great. Atlanta is like to me, what should be the golden child of Bravo TV Real Housewives. They haven't been for a little bit, and unfortunately, it's very much been so since Nene left. But we do know, remember, Candy was leaving. So those are the confirmations we have directly from Bravo on the new cast. Now, there's some interesting Vanderpump Rules little tidbits I've got here. Let's start with, yes, we know part 1 of 3 of the season 11 reunion is airing tonight because it is Tuesday. It's Vanderpump Rules in the Valley Day, my friends. But do y'all know that all of the main cast members, except for Tom Sandoval, have removed Bravo TV and Vanderpump Rules from their bio? Now, Ariana, she's got a lot going on. She is doing Love Island, Chicago. She's got the DSW partnership. She's doing anything and everything. So there's only so much room in an Instagram bio. But let me tell you, it's gone from every single one of their bios except for Tom Sandoval. Now, the interesting tidbit. Reality Ops on Instagram. She's also on TikTok. And oh my gosh, what is the name of their podcast? Excuse me while I double check it because I don't want to get it wrong. She's a part of the Down to Reality podcast with Connection Queen. And she had posted this screenshot showing Joe Wenberg at the Golden Whiskey Party by Kyle Chan finale party for Vanderpump Rules, where Joe is wearing a gold jacket. And wouldn't you know, she's wearing the gold jacket of the flamboyant drunk man who had to be kicked out of the party. Isn't that fascinating? Well, if y'all don't remember this, Joe has blocked me on Instagram and on TikTok. I mean, I only talked about her on TikTok one time before she blocked me, my God. But it's fascinating to me because she did an Instagram live. Now, this Instagram live was not fascinating. It was a lot of goat noises. You heard me, goat and lamb noises. A lot of kookiness. And this is aside from the text messages she read on an Instagram live that she received from Schwartz. And she read these after he blocked her. Yeah. Maybe I'm too close to it all because I had watched Baby Reindeer on Netflix. That is a wild ride of a show. Baby Reindeer. And it's giving me some of those vibes because, you know, she's saying that Schwartz told her that her online antics were really crossing a line. He was uncomfortable with them. He felt that she was just out of basically out of her mind, and he didn't want to be in contact with her anymore. He didn't want her speaking on him or his new girlfriend, his infantile child girlfriend. I mean, she's like in her 20s, but still, sir. Anywho, and on this Instagram live that was after the Schwartz text message reading that she did with her BFF from Wisconsin, where they're talking about, oh, my friend Kelly, she got pulled over by the police, don't you know? And they offered her some lamb meat. Excuse me? Oh, yeah. And one time when I was a senior in high school, they put a live chicken when I got pulled over in the back of my car. I know people from Wisconsin, and I've never heard of anything like that. That sounds just like a Joe-centric type of thing. Anywho, she ends up going on when people were asking her, who were you wearing that guy's jacket? Because if you haven't seen the video I did on it, I posted it on TikTok and on Instagram. Please go follow me on both. It's Besties by Caitlin, Caitlan. There's my ask for the moment. And in this clip, because I had to go back and I'm rewatching the Peacock extended version. And in the clip, Joe is absolutely wearing this man's jacket, and he is without his jacket as he walks by and looks directly into camera. And she says on this Instagram live, no, that was my friend Jeremy Bleach Music's jacket. So you know me. I went over onto Jeremy Bleach Music's Instagram, and he was at that party. And there are photos of him from that party. And guess what? He is wearing a jacket that is gold, but looks nothing like that. It was a denim jacket. This was some sort of like Nutcracker toy soldier jacket for that little flamboyant drunk man. And I mean, it's absolutely the same jacket. And like I said, he's without it in the scene. You blink and you'll miss it, but I slowed it down. So if you want to go look at the video I did, yeah. Well, she's not wearing his jacket, this Jeremy Bleach Music's jacket, because again, from what, if you didn't watch this video I made, this man, allegedly, his name is Justin, and allegedly Billy Lee, the day after the finale party was filmed, goes on Instagram and says that this guy in particular, again, allegedly his name is Justin, the flamboyant drunk man who was kicked out of the party, goes up to her and he's like, hey, how come you don't go by your real last name anymore? And she's like, oh, I just don't. And apparently the reason she stopped going by her real last name is she had a stalker back in the day. And this guy says to her, well, I know your last name, and tells her given last name. And then he says to Billy that he knows she's from West Indiana and all of this. And she says this completely freaked her out, and that she was trying to act calm, and her way of dealing with things is just to kind of smile and move on, what have you. In the photos that were grabbed from Reddit, she looks like she's very calm. Now, that's not to say that maybe she wasn't freaking out. I don't know. And this is during that entire altercation. But I had so many people being like, oh my God, Sandoval absolutely paid this guy to come in and start, riling some things up. And it's starting to point toward that being a possibility, considering Joe is wearing his jacket and she claims, oh, well, Brock brought Sheena 2 wrong jackets whenever, her dress ripped. And it's like, yeah, but they were both black faux fur jackets from, like Shein or Light in the Box or Temu or whatever. And this jacket was nowhere similar. I mean, I'm sorry, anyone with eyes could see it was not even remotely similar. So she claims that it was an accidental jacket wearing, that this man happened to be walking right by her looking straight into camera, and it just was such a coincidence she was accidentally wearing his jacket. Okay. Cool. Good news. The Valley was renewed for season 2. And if you are not watching it, go watch it. It's so good. And it continues to be good. They are still not getting that reunion this season, which makes all of zero sense to me, but okay. Anywho, well, my friends, I think I've covered it all for now. Should we get into Summer House? Because this was an episode that required a lot of notes from your girl over here. So there was a lot to get into. Let's start at the top. We pick up with the conversation between Lindsay and Carl, where Lindsay is telling Carl, after the whole thing of him revealing to her that Lou said if they were his couple, he wouldn't marry them. And she's just like, we don't need to beat a dead horse. And, again, this really, her saying this is because she thinks at this point that Carl has given her the full rundown of the conversation he had on camera with his parents. And after Carl has made it clear to Lindsay in this conversation with her that this whole thing is going to only be about how he feels, because it doesn't matter how she feels to him. Nope. It's only about Carl. All about Carl. Lindsay's ready to move on and go back to dinner. And in confessional, Lindsay's like,
So let me get this straight. After your parents said some pretty fucked up things about your future marriage to me, and then I'm the one who has to console you about it?
she's like, thanks for telling me, but like, it's weird because her parents wouldn't say anything negative about her relationship because it's her decision and her marriage. Well, your parents are going to have something to say if they're invested in your life. And, there's a certain boundary, sure. But this was really sad to me. Jesse seems like he's down. And yeah, he's such a fuckboy and he can be a little, but no one deserves this, honestly. He's at this point where no one really knows why he's feeling in this state, but he says in his confessional that he doesn't like to be vulnerable about sad things, and he's down because 2 weeks ago he felt a nodule in his testicle. I said it in a more medical way than he did, but he has the 5-year screening coming up for the prostate cancer that he's now beat twice. And truly, at the moment, he's feeling like he has cancer again, which he's so young. And that is so scary. Cancer, it's a cancer. Fuck cancer. Okay, there, we said it. So we move on to Carl's favorite word at the moment is overwhelmed. And apparently, that's what he's going to use over and over and over, especially when Gabby asks him if he's okay. Then inside, Lindsay, Paige, and Amanda and Sierra go talk about Lindsay's conversation with Carl. And Lindsay's telling them that he took on what his parents said as his fault. Basically, she's still trying to make him look like a good guy. God bless. So Paige wants to know what was said. And Lindsay tells them that what Lou said about how he was like, yeah, if you were my couple, I wouldn't marry you. Paige's eyes are about to pop out on the floor, roll right across the room and go take a shower in her big old standing shower because they have just rolled in so much hot tea that she is absolutely loving. But Amanda reminds them that Carl said his parents only got his side of things and not Lindsay. And Lindsay points out that that is why she doesn't run to her parents every single time they have a fight, because if she did, her dad would be like, yo, I don't know about this. Well, baby doll, if your dad at any point would be, and we know it sounds like multiple times, would be like, I don't know about this marriage thing that you're about to do, then maybe that's when you want to start thinking about things. Well, she still is slightly defending him by saying that he was defensive because he was afraid that she would be upset with him. Oh. So West and Kyle notice that Jesse seems down, and they think it's only because of what Sierra said to, West and Kyle notice that Jesse seems down. That's probably what I just said. Excuse me. And they think it's only because of what Sierra had said. Remember last week, and she was like, you're kind of a trash bag, and I wouldn't introduce any of my friends to you. But they really aren't realizing what else could be on his mind. And West in the after show ended up apologizing to Jesse because he was like, he's acting like his goldfish died. And once we know what was actually going on, it really was pretty heavy, to say the least. Now, it is the charts, astrological charts, and tarot time. And that was my friend Alyssa. if you are not following Stars X Alyssa on Instagram, go follow her. I just saw her when I was in New York in February. I adore that girl. I was going to try and get her on after this episode aired, but scheduling just could not make it happen. We did our best, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. I'll get her on here again soon. She's so much fun and I absolutely adore her. Now, Alyssa pulls for Kyle and says that essentially he needs to chill on the partying, essentially. Shocking. Amanda's getting basically a whole thing about settling down roots and the death cards, which mean new beginnings. But Lindsay gets the Seven of Swords, which Alyssa interprets as being whatever curveballs life throws at you, just keep your eyes forward. Interesting, because we know she's about to get a big old curveball to the face coming here soon. And then Alyssa gets to Jesse, and wow, because she pulls the Four of Pentacles. And Kyle chooses at this moment to make the joke saying,
Did you say the Four of Testicles?
the irony, considering. Okay. Because again, Jesse's worried about his testicles having cancer. You absolutely, not testicles, but prostate, you twat of a man, Kyle. So she interprets Jesse's as him always holding in what life gives him very tightly. And she tells him that he doesn't need to take everything in on his own. So we get over to the pendulum questions, which are those yes or no questions. I don't know if y'all ever saw this whenever you're pregnant. It's like this old wives' tale to put your wedding band on a string or a chain, and you have someone hold it over your belly. And if it goes, forwards, backwards, or side to side, it's means you're gonna have a girl or a boy, whatever. Anywho, or it's like if it goes in circles. But regardless, they get to Paige with this, and Paige asks if she's getting engaged in 2024, and it swings to what we would say is a yes. And they're all losing their minds. And she's like, "Well, my fiance moved to New York," and it's a yes. So she goes, "Good, as he should." Very Paige answer. And it ends on Kyle asking if they're going to party. And obviously it's a yes. So most everyone goes to bed and Kyle and Carl sit outside to talk. But Carl tells Kyle here that I'm so fucked. And that his parents were really hard on him. Okay, I'm so sorry, but that was them being hard on him. They were mostly hard on Lindsay, who wasn't even there. And that was in the way with their implied looks, their pauses, they're adding to the thickening tension in the air. But I'm sorry, I don't particularly feel that they were quote unquote hard on Carl. Okay. I feel that Carl is very good at being a very big old victim. He has plenty of things he could be a victim about that he is a victim of, but this is not one of them. So Kyle tells Carl that he needs to be straight up with him because he feels that Carl has been sugarcoating things all summer. And Carl says that his parents were concerned about the volatility, causing him to go off the deep end, like with his brother. Remember his brother who had passed away from what I recall was a drug overdose the year of the pandemic on Lindsay's birthday, no less. Okay, legitimate concern, but he's also comparing the death of his brother to what he's going through with Lindsay. In confessional, Kyle says he's had concerns all along about Lindsay and Carl, but he hasn't voiced them, and that Carl is very close with his mom, and that if she's having concerns, well, that says a lot. The next morning, Paige and Amanda are talking about having Alyssa there the night before, and that they felt like what she read for Amanda was really spot on, and because listen, the death card is actually about new beginnings. If you knew how many times I've gotten the death card. Why? Because I'm going to kill someone? No, I'm not, I swear. And they just really felt like that was super spot on. But Carl stayed after, so the boys all went to Barry's boot camp, I should say. And Carl stayed after Barry's boot camp to talk to a guy about a non-alcoholic beverage company he wants to get involved in. But hey, aren't you already supposed to be doing that with Kyle? So you're basically trying to take the idea with Kyle and go somewhere else because you just don't want to work with Kyle at Loverboy? Fascinating for where the conversation ends up going later. Anyway, he says in his confessional that Lindsay tells him he's pigeonholing himself with that. No, Carl, we've only actually heard her say that she's not on board with brick and mortar sober bar. My guy, that's a coffee shop. If you want to open up a coffee, a sports coffee shop, sure, what have you. But that makes a little bit more sense than just a sober bar. Go ahead and serve the food, but you need to focus on some sort of libation. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. I mean, how many times have you seen your sister's show, Vanderpump Rules? Because if y'all forget, this show was started as a crossover from Vanderpump Rules. How well have the bars been going, opening up over there for those people's lives? Outside by the pool, Jesse brings up what Sierra said about him last night at dinner, her calling him a trash bag and all that. And she is very nice to him and apologizes to him for saying that he was a trash bag and says she feels like he's just on to the next thing as soon as he gets one thing, as in one chick. And then they literally are going to kiss and make up. And Sierra asks West if she can kiss Jesse. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. Go ahead. So they do. And then she says, I've got a cool boyfriend. Danielle starts freaking the hell out saying, you said boyfriend. You said boyfriend. Boyfriend? Boyfriend. Boyfriend. And Amanda says she's going to go tell Paige and that Sierra said boyfriend. It's just being made into this huge deal. And even Jesse is just trying to be like the best wingman after he kissed Sierra by saying, I can't believe I kissed West's girlfriend. Really, he's just like trying to get West laid by that stunning specimen that is Sierra. Oh boy, Lindsay and Carl are in the kitchen. Oh, bye. Lindsay asks him how his After Barry's boot camp on a Saturday meeting went with the guy from Busan. Is that how you say it? And he says they had some roles in the company that were open, but that he doesn't necessarily think he's fit for those roles. Now, listen, who knows what the roles were? Let's just go ahead and say that, because that's the way it goes sometimes. So I understand him saying that on the surface, but how many times has he said that to Lindsay about every meeting after a Barry's Boot Camp Saturday meeting that he's had? He brings up that they agreed he needed to have the career aspect, as in he and Lindsay agreed this, it needed to be taken care of by Labor Day. And he makes it clear he realizes how rapidly Labor Day is approaching, because now he's just going to take whatever he can get. So he says, Lindsay just straight up asks him when he's like saying, yeah, he's going to go with the Kyle thing, the Kyle and Loverboy thing. Lindsay's like, so does Kyle have a vision for you? And he says Kyle has ideas for him, but he's seen nothing in writing. Then he tells Lindsay, like, yeah, if you had asked me 7 months ago if I'd be working for Kyle again, I would have said no. In the after show, we saw the Lindsay and Gabby side of it where they were joking. And Gabby was like, it's kind of like if you left communist Cuba and you were like, hey, I just want to go back because the beaches were nice. And I mean, it's a wild, comparison, but the point is, he essentially let Lindsay know that he was so incredibly miserable in the 4 years he was at Loverboy that, I mean, we'll get there. We'll get there, how incredibly miserable he was, apparently, that he needed this much time to decompress from working at Loverboy. That's been his excuse. But Carl tells Lindsay he wants to be a part of the new non-alcoholic product. And look, I fully believe there need to be more non-alcoholic products out there that aren't just Coke or Pepsi or Sprite, what have you. And people need to be able to, have something that they feel like they're partaking without partaking and without actually feeling like they're partaking. Makes a lot of sense. Is this not just a kind of like a new soda at the end of the day? Maybe I'm just confused. Maybe. I don't know. But listen, also, I've had Loverboy. It's very good. It's not a spiked seltzer. It is a spiked tea, and it doesn't taste like tea. So just bear that in mind. Because, I mean, listen, I don't know if you've had, I'm sure, who hasn't had a White Claw who drinks alcohol? But, the way White Claw someone said one time, White Claw tastes like TV static while someone is screaming the flavor that you're drinking from another room. And I highly agree with that statement. But did you know also that White Claw is not in the category actually of beer because it has vodka in it? So, there's some random information you didn't ask for. But Loverboy is actually very good. I've had it. That's all I was going with that. So anyway, Lindsay is here trying to get on the same level with Carl and also be true to herself and the type of partner that she is. So she says, well, it's comfortable. It's like going back to an ex almost. But she's right. I mean, like, do y'all know some jobs I had that I was miserable doing them. But once I left, I suddenly started like romanticizing what it was like working there. And I'll tell you why, because of the money. And then the lack thereof can make you get all sorts of romantic feelings about things. Don't you know that? And then Carl is clearly doing just that, because his next sentence is, well, now that I've had some space from it, I feel that Kyle and I are in a better place, and I was a massive part of this company. Then he uses his favorite word again. The word's not again, but it may as well be, because he says she could see from the night before that he's overwhelmed and there's a lot going on right now. Right now. Listen, besties, I want you Lindsay haters to really take a moment and think about what she says to him here that takes him to the place that he actually goes, because it's him showing his true colors. Lindsay says to him, well, is there anything I can take off your plate of being overwhelmed so that you can focus on what you want to do career-wise? Carl takes offense to this. Why? I'll tell you. Because he's not actually doing anything. And he knows she's aware of this, but she's pretending for him that he is doing things when he's not. And it's not the doing things that are like you sit at home and sew and pretend to do things. No. Carl is like pretending to do things like work out and typing on a computer when he's probably not actually doing anything. Ooh. She offers to take on more for him when she's the one bringing in the money and planning the wedding right now. And he takes offense to her offering to help him. God. Being a female sometimes is so exhausting, because all he says back to her is, I just want your support and positivity. And Lindsay's like, I'm just asking questions. I'm not even giving you my opinion, which obviously tells us, though, her opinion is not going to be what he wants to hear, but she's doing that thing that a lot of us women have to do when we're in a relationship with a man's, and we do that thing for our men when they're in a fragile ego state, which is all the time. But that's the ego state he's in, and she's doing that thing for him where she's also letting him know, well, I'm not giving you my opinion, even though my opinion is that you're making a stupid ass mistake, you dumbass. And yet she's just simply asking him questions, hoping this oath of a man will come to the conclusion that she is so painfully aware of. They then have this back and forth of him saying, can you listen for a second? Yeah, I'm not even giving my opinion. Can you listen? I'm not even giving my opinion. He brings up that in the last several months of him not quote unquote working full time, AKA also known as of him not working at all, just letting brand deals hit his inbox on Instagram, which because he's a man, he doesn't get as many. I'll never get over that. He says he's just been getting the critique and questioning, not the support he needs. Now, look, okay, I'll throw you this bone. I do understand what he means here. And I get that when you're excited about something, you want to have someone be excited with you. I get that. And you deserve that from your partner. However, I have to wonder when he goes to her with his ideas, which I'm sure there are many, if he did any research on said ideas first, put together the cost analysis for the startup of these quote unquote ideas, looked into success rates, looked into what caused failures, or, anything at all for these different ideas before he brought them to her. Because you notice when it came to the non-alcoholic sports bar, I want to open a bar with no booze. The thing that makes bars all the money they have. Okay. If I were her, my eyes would have popped out of my head. I would have turned into the exorcist. It would have spun around and I've been like, what the hell are you talking about? And, the thing is, no, you don't have to do a presentation for your partner every time you want to take on something or get your career in a certain direction. However, if you do end up needing things like investors for startups, you're going to need to have a presentation together.
How many half-baked ideas have you brought to me?
Sorry, had to. So Lindsay tells him that she's just not a yes person. She will have questions because she's more of a practical and logical brain type of person. And she reminds him that he told her that why he wasn't working the last 8 months is because he needed to, quote unquote, decompress because the last 4 years at Loverboy were so difficult, tumultuous, and volatile for him. So listen to me. Of course she's going to ask questions. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's insane to me to think that she would not ask. Because the thing is, too, y'all, if she didn't ask him about it and just was like, yeah, babe, let's go. Oh my God, go work for Loverboy. Loverboy. He would immediately be like, she just cares about me making money and not about my mental health. She didn't even check to see if I would be okay going back to the company where I was so miserable. That's exactly what he would do. Damned if you do and damned if you don't, Hubhouse. I'm telling you. But she confirms exactly what I'm saying. That she's just trying to make sure it would be okay for him mentally if he went back to Loverboy, like emotionally, that level, he'll be okay, will ya? Don't know. It's Carl at this point. So then he tells her that her playing devil's advocate and asking all these questions comes across as her not being supportive. Oh my God. So then she is just freaking trying her goddamn hardest for this man's. And she says, okay, I'll stop asking questions if it's coming across as unsupportive. And this is the thing. Is he knows she is giving every answer that is possibly remotely correct in this scenario. Because what does he do instead? See, now you're getting defensive. It's impossible. Y'all, I am fully aware that Lindsay can be an absolute literal goddamn monster. Don't get me wrong. I know that. This is not just the Lindsay Hubbard Defense Hour, okay? I'm not part of her defense team against the prosecution, but I am infuriated by this man, okay? Because he is trying to paint her into being a different type of monster than she is. Lindsay can be nuts. Right now, she is being an adult thinking rationally and being a partner. And plus, yes, she wants you to have the career figured out. I don't think she was saying you had to immediately get a job by Labor Day because guess what? We all are smart enough to realize they're making 6 figures from this television show. They are not destitute. Okay? And she already made 6 figures from bringing in brand deals with influencing. So let's really just call it what it is. Break the fourth wall. Damn it. Okay. She's just trying to be a good partner at the moment. I'm sorry. You can't convince me otherwise. But he goes on about how after he says that she's being defensive, She just, her jaw just drops like, what the F? And he goes on about how he's so gifted at sales. And she supports the statement by saying, you are very gifted at sales. And she tells him he doesn't need to convince her of that and that she feels like he's getting angry, which, there's a fine line between anger and frustration. So, maybe he was just frustrated. But he says he's frustrated, and she finally asks, what do you need from me? And he says he wants her to be excited and pumped about all these incredible opportunities he has to make us money because he has an investment in Loverboy. And then he has the sheer audacity to say, do you have that same opportunity for yourself? What? And he goes, like, do you have an investment in something if it were to sell? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm beyond, Carl. This was so goddamn rude. Lindsay has made more money than you in the last year, and it's not just because she's a woman, you half-wit. Jesus Christ. I'm beyond. Oh. If anything, she would have been making half of what you made because she's a woman. That shows you how much harder she's worked, dickhead. Oh my God, I got mad. I'm so sorry. Excuse my language. Okay. Plus, now she does have an investment property that's in Nashville that she bought, redid, Airbnb type of thing, by the way. He keeps pushing about the product at Loverboy. And she says, okay, it's clear you are leaning toward working at Loverboy. And he says, well, if that's upsetting you, this conversation made me nuts. I'm not going to lie. It made me absolutely nuts. And it made me want to go hide in a corner in a closet because it triggers me. Like if you've ever had a partner that you had like these type of fights with, that it's like, oh my God, I just want to murder you now. I really do. Just looking at my mic. Okay. Anyway, excuse me. Look down. I'm like, what is that? So she says it's not that. She says it's not upsetting her. It's her job as his partner to bring up the questions regarding the things he has told her, and that she's trying to, continue. That she's like, yeah, I'm not automatically going to be the cheerleader. Like, yeah. And that it's just her bringing up questions from things he said to her. That's it. She starts to say that it's not fair for him to say that she's not supportive by asking questions. And he interrupts her and says, don't make this about you now. You're not the victim in this. Because here's the thing, my friends. That's because Carl is trying to insinuate he is a victim in this situation. You are a victim of needing to bring in an income? Is that what you're saying, sir? You a 40-year-old man? Jeez, dude. Like, come on. But see, Lindsay, because she's smarter than he's giving her credit, she's now like, mother effer, I'll show you a victim. I wasn't thinking that, but now? And she says, okay, well, I'm going to go cry now. Thank you very much. Shouldn't have played that game, Carl. Shouldn't have. And he's asking why she's going to go cry and says, how is this about you right now? I'm asking for support. Oh my God. He makes me nuts. She's pulling up some tears though. So he's making her nuts enough to go ahead and, pull on a nose hair to try and get those tears coming. And she says, because I'm trying to be a really good partner to you. And he says to her, interrupting her, I'm asking for more. I'm asking for something different. And they circle back to the same thing of asking questions. And you want me to be like, yeah, go for it, blah, blah, blah. And she starts to walk off. And he's like, oh, so what? You're going to walk away? She's like, yeah, you ruined my dinner last night. And now you're ruining my pool party. And this asshole goes, your pool party, your dinner. I'm going to tell you why she said my pool party and my dinner. She was saying my experience in the pool party, my dinner experience. Because if she said he ruined the entire party, as in you ruined the pool party, he'd be like, I don't see anyone else who has their pool party ruined. This is about you. Because he then would have said that she's making it about everyone else when it's just about her. Do you see this man, the way he's thinking and the way he's acting with her? Do you see how obnoxious this is and why the tables are turning on Carl Radke at this point? Oh, you're an asshole. So we go over to the pool. And Carl joins the guys. And Jesse tells him he can't believe he had a stogie last night without him. Maybe y'all in the chat here on YouTube can tell me, is a stogie weed or a cigar? Because I don't know. Genuinely. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. And I didn't know how to spell it to ask Google. Okay. But Lindsay goes over to the girls and it's just like guys side, girls side, like a middle school dance. We love to see it. And Lindsay relays a bit of what the conversation was with Carl inside. And, regarding that meeting, the Barry's Boot Camp Saturday meeting and his career stuff and how she has questions. So Carl's word of the day is overwhelmed. Lindsay's word of the day is questions. Got it. And Amanda says to Lindsay that Carl feels like Lindsay is questioning him, not the many careers he is choosing to start. Now, let me say this as one of those type of people that I have had many careers in my life that I have started and stopped and started and stopped. You go in with such vigor and excitement and you think you've got it figured out. And if you haven't started the whole thing yet and put in the effort and you are waiting for everyone else around you to be as excited as you are, and you sit there and you're like, why aren't you as excited as I am? Because they can see it. They know what's going to happen. I understand that. Okay. Maybe Carl has ADHD as well. Or maybe he's just a little flighty bird like me. Who knows? But at the end of the day, yes, she is questioning the careers. Lindsay says it's not what she's doing. And Amanda goes, God, men are so fragile. And honestly, that is what should have been the name of the episode. Am I right or am I wrong, ladies? And gents and theys, Carl is telling the guys his own watered down version and tells Kyle about how Lindsay said it felt like Carl was going back to an ex working at Loverboy. And I noticed I think I skipped a whole section. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, of notes there on their conversation because yes, it is that comfortability for him of going back to quote unquote an ex. That's really what it's like. And Kyle says that Lindsay hasn't pointed Carl down any type of path that makes any sense and that he thinks Lindsay's just closing doors for Carl. Why is it Lindsay's job to be Carl's career coach when he has dropped 20 grand on a career coach already? Are y'all freaking kidding me? Am I the only one who is seeing this? How nuts this is? Why is Lindsay the monster in this particular scenario? You man children, get your shit together. Figure it out. You're already putting 5 figures down for someone who is supposed to know better to tell you what to do and guide you. And yet it's her fault you can't get it together. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. You know when I'm triggered. You know. I start looking straight into camera and I can't help it. Like, who am I talking to? But really, why is it Lindsay's job to come up with his career path? Someone tell me. Across the pool, Amanda is saying that it's valid for Lindsay to make sure Carl is making the right decisions since they're getting married. And because Carl will bring home his work stress if it's not good. And she's right because Amanda deals with Kyle. I know we lost 1.5 million, but can you rub my feet? Or Kyle, I just want to hang out. Fucking Kyle. So anyway, Lindsay tells the girls that she worries Carl doesn't have the quote unquote fire to match hers, as in that like drive, that passion, that let's go and get this career, profession, pound the pavement shit done. And listen, I don't think he does either. he's ironic, like he's very oddly passive in the wrong moments. Does that make sense? Paige brings up if Lindsay is always going to have to be the one in control of doing that, and that it's extremely mentally exhausting if that's the case. Good point, Paige. And Sierra says in confessional that if Lindsay is always having to drive the ship, essentially, while Carl is passenger princess, she'd find it hard to be attracted to that. And I get it. That's the thing is sometimes, I tend to be a little bit like Lindsay in that sense where I'm like, no, get your shit done, but also do it this way and do it that way. Did you call this person to get it done? So it's like, I want you to do it, but you better do it the right way. And so then what do you end up doing? You end up telling people how to do things when they need to sometimes figure it out themselves. I get that. Totally. But sometimes because I tend to be that person that takes care of people, and I typically, unless it's for myself, a lot of times I get shit done for other people. And sometimes it's just nice to have someone else take control of it all. They all go on the boat. Kyle and the boys do some sort of like boogie board sea-doo thing. And Kyle takes off his swim trunks and do it naked and literally loses his swim shorts. So he has to wear Sierra's. Like, this man is 40. Okay. West and Paige start talking about Sierra while she's napping. She's really integrating into that giggly squad bed rotting lifestyle, even on a boat. And do you, girl. Love it. Get all the naps you need. And West tells Paige that he's planning to take Sierra horseback riding this week. And Paige is like, oh my God, did you know she's literally been talking about it all summer? And yeah, of course she is, because she's seeing a guy cuddling up with a guy, what have you, that grew up doing the horse thing. Of course she has been. She ends up telling West that she would do anything for Sierra and that she would run to her and tell her anything a guy said about her. If no matter who it is, it's not like she's vetting every guy that Sierra's seeing, but it's a thing. And then she brings up what Lindsay told her that West was saying out by the pool, that he wasn't necessarily shooting down, texting other girls. And his response is that he just has flirtatious relationships with other women, but he's not sleeping with other women. He also says that he doesn't feel that it's the time to be in an exclusive relationship with someone if you're not sleeping with them. So I'm going to say I get it, but I also don't, because the opposite version of sex and exclusivity rarely go hand in hand. So why can't it go hand in hand in this regard? Someone explain that to me. Yeah, it's up to you and that person at the end of the day, but why is it so weird? I find it weirder to just be having sex without any without any exclusivity. I find that weirder than it is to, whatever. Anyway, I can't say the word again. As you can see here, whatever. Oh my God. He says in his confessional that because he hasn't had this conversation with Sierra, he doesn't really feel like he owes Paige an explanation on this. And he also states that either you get in an exclusive relationship and end up getting married, or you have a really sad day where you end it. And he doesn't like that because it scares him. And it's interesting to me because when he said after this moment in confessional that was probably the most immature statement he's made in the studio, I actually surprisingly disagree. And maybe it's because I've dealt with my own round of, non-committal men in my 20s, but it kind of gave me insight that maybe men are thinking a little bit differently than I'm realizing, because women are like, no, we were thinking about, we want to get married someday. And not all women do. And not all women are thinking that way, but just, stereotypical wise. But that being said, we're not sitting there go, oh, well, we're either going to break up or get married. We're thinking about, we want to be exclusive with you to make sure you're not screwing around with other people. And we're saying that we won't do that. But we're not thinking about breaking up or getting married. We're thinking about, we're getting to know you even better on a deeper level while feeling more secure. Okay. So Paige ends up telling him that she knows it's a thing that girls will say to a guy who's dating one of their best friends, like, if you hurt her, I'll kill you. And she's like, but I genuinely will. There's my Scorpio queen. Same, babe. I'm the same way. Oh my God. Kyle and Amanda talk. And they agree how wildly accurate the tarot reading Alyssa gave was, especially for Amanda. And Amanda uses it as the springboard into the conversation of, if you take that, Sierra said, if you take away Kyle and Loverboy, who is Amanda? And Kyle makes this poorly tasted joke saying, nobody knows, which, like, dude, come on. She brings up that supporting each other is important and how she's been supporting his dream. And basically, this whole thing, this back and forth that was just kind of annoying when, I'm sorry, but it kind of was about how she feels that she's been supporting Kyle for however many years that he started Loverboy up 3 years ago. And yes, she agrees that their dream together is to be successful, but Kyle isn't grasping that that's the dream, not her supporting his dreams, which when we get to this point, it's very frustrating for me. I feel frustrated for Amanda. Because she left this $4 million care company that she was working at to go support him. And she's basically just like, hey, I need to be selfish right now. I want to start my own thing. I genuinely could see Amanda designing fantastic swimsuits. Of course, Amanda's body is like sickening. It's so good. So I need her to, if you're going to design them for people who are, soft. You're not, your body's not as soft as most of us women's, bodies are. Okay. Anywho. And he ends up revealing that they lost $1.5 million in the first 6 months of the year, which was not a good sign because they're getting closer to the colder months. And that's when it's harder to sell something like Loverboy, which their show is a summer show. You're supposed to want to drink it by the pool at the beach. I get that. And I can understand why he's freaking out. But when she says, again, that she needs to be a little bit selfish right now, maybe, and start looking at supporting her own goals and backing her own goals instead of just supporting his. He then says to her, because he's clearly drunk and he's talking in cursive, guess what? I haven't achieved them, so I need a little more help. Anyway, he tries saying to her that she doesn't want to, she's not motivated to get out of bed and do her part in Loverboy, which I can understand probably is frustrating for him too, but she kind of wants something that she wants to do to remotivate her. It's not like Amanda was going, hey, my dream job is to work for my husband's alcoholic beverage company. And, life kind of goes that way sometimes. But, maybe she could do her own thing for once instead of it being the Kyle show, which he thinks Summer House is the Kyle Cook show. So he's adamant he still needs her help. They're still going back and forth and back and forth. By the time she's said 15 times that she's not planning to leave the company, she's like, you know what? Okay, I'm done. So glad this conversation was fantastic. I'm going to the bathroom. And they're all getting off the boat and they get back to the house. Aw, Jesse Solomon, buddy. He and West are out front and he really has kind of an emotional breakdown, which for the type of man he is, keeps reiterating that he doesn't like to be vulnerable or show his emotions. And he is downright sobbing to West. And he's really scared about this screening and what he felt, in his testicle that was part of, like a nodule, which, I asked a very close family member who's a doctor that, like, hey, is that normal? That I don't know, because I don't have those things. And they were like, yeah, it is normal. It could be anything, but we will find out, obviously. And West is just hugging Jesse and being an all around good friend to him. And I do genuinely feel like West would be such a good person to be there for you in a moment like this. Like he's not afraid to give you a hug and he'll try and make you laugh, but he's not gonna, he's not gonna go too far the way Kyle might sometimes. But inside the house, after they go in, Kyle goes over to Amanda and says that he doesn't want her to think he wasn't listening to her. And she's like, I know that you heard me. And she's not feeling like it's the right night to continue the conversation. So he keeps going on about the stress of the business and like, can you imagine how exhausted she is of hearing about the stress and the just all out dogfight that's happening over at Loverboy? I mean, and he says that he just goes, I apologize for being a little concerned about, and takes a huge long pause. So she's like, yourself? And then Kyle walks off, says, F you, then takes off out the front door, calling her an effing bitch behind her back out the front door. Now, listen, we've all had those type of moments. Don't even think I'm going to try and convince you otherwise, but damn. God. He walks around, he flip-flops around to the back where Danielle and Carl are talking and throws, I don't know, like his Old Navy flip-flop or bucket hat or some shit at the pool house wall. And Danielle and Carl are kind of like, what the hell is going on? And he says, I gotta get, because when I tell you what he says here, I have tears coming out of my eyes. Because I thought he was joking. I gotta stop. I'm so sorry. I'm not making fun of anyone's hopes and dreams. Oh my God, I'm actually crying. I have tears. I'm sorry. Kyle says, he starts going off and he says, he says, pull it together. Okay. He says, I am done trying to pretend it's okay for me to babysit my effing wife. She wants a passion project. She wants to have purpose. Okay, cool. Crying. I'm laughing so hard. Excuse me. I'm trying to hold it. He goes, cool. You know what I want? I want to be a DJ. I want to be a fucking DJ. But right now, I'm trying to build a future. I have actual tears. I'm so sorry. I thought he was joking. Look, dude, follow your dreams, but I genuinely thought he was joking. I thought he was giving, or not joking, but like giving a stupid example. Well, you know what I want to do? Okay, you know what? I want to be a DJ. No, he's dead ass serious. In the after show, Amanda said that he's doing his own thing and he's taking lessons in Jersey, coming home and practicing. So let me get this straight, Kyle Cook. You are able to go take DJ lessons in New Jersey, but she's not allowed to start another business that could bring you in more money. She has to sit there and she cooks you dinner while you take DJ lessons. Now, and this is not me making fun of DJ lessons being a thing, because I cannot begin to imagine how difficult being a DJ is. It is not just pushing buttons on a laptop. But Kyle, are you fucking kidding me? You want to be a DJ? You could, I'm so sorry, but you would not be sober enough. Can you imagine him at a wedding being the DJ? This one goes out to all of you lovers of drinking Loverboy. Don't forget to get a Loverboy at your local Kroger. He would be a drunk wedding DJ. Come on. It just is not what I was expecting him to be dead ass about. Oh, y'all, it had me in tears. Because I was like, wait, no, he's not just throwing out like a bullshit comparison. Like, I don't know. Yeah, well, you know what I want to do? I want to be a dog groomer. Like, I don't know. I mean, of course, I'm the asshole that, one day was like, you know what I want to do, guys? I want to be a podcaster, but it's only Bravo. And pop culture whenever it comes and tickles my fancy. So you know what? You can make fun of me too. Oh man, I made it through that last moment. I thought I was going to end up on the floor, my friends. Yeah, it's not often that I'm crying from laughing. Let me say hi to some of you because I love it when y'all join the chat. Hi, Adam. I said hi to you a little bit earlier. Hi, Simona. Hi, Danny. Hi, Miriam. Hi, June. Hi, Evangelina. Hi, Mina. Oh, thank you. We love having you here on this channel too. And listen, friends, please go follow my Instagram, my TikTok at Besties by Caitlin, Caitlin. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, do the whole thing. Not to sound like overly obnoxious with it, but leave a cute little review. 5 stars, my besties. It literally makes my day. And then that has me like crying happy tears, not from holding in laughter, but like, actual happy tears. I love having y'all here. Please join us on Thursday. I will have Giorgio. We will be doing it 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, 12 p.m. Pacific. It will be Vanderpump Rules. And as far as I know, I'll double check, but I do believe I am joining him tomorrow to recap the Valley on his podcast, Giorgio Says. Also, please be sure and check out Pop Culture Besties on Etsy. It is my shop that I've been designing all sorts of fun stuffs. So enjoy checking out the merch there. And I tried to create really unique stuff that I didn't really see out there. And I wanted it to have like a very specific feel that it was like you don't see any other Bravo pop culture besties wearing the same thing, but it's like you kind of know you're a part of the same community. And it's like, if you see someone wearing the shirt, the one that's really been hitting everyone is I'm not really sure what I've done to you, but I'll take a Being a Grigio shirt. Only true Bravo fans know it. And it's a great way to spot new besties out in the wild. Let me tell you, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic way to do it. Anywho, my friends, I know, Adam, I never thought back in the day I would be Team Lindsay, but here we are. Yep, that's what and a very self-victimizing straight man will do to us sometimes. So just so you know, it's like the men on Bravo, I should say. That's what a man on Bravo will do to us. I shouldn't just loophole only the straight men because there are some good ones out there. And thank you, Miriam. You know what? You deserve an Emmy for saying that my intro deserves an Emmy. Thank you. Flattered, I'm sure. All right, my besties. I will see you on Thursday. I am looking forward to covering Vanderpump Rules and whatever else came out. I know I missed a few things in the beginning with the gossip, but only because one of them I want to talk with Giorgio about on Thursday. So he has some really great insights on it. Anywho, my friends, thank you for joining, and I will see you again on Thursday. Bye.